Congratulations to me.
Heck,
I can't believe it.
Before the postseason started, they were, for this exact matchup, about 450 to 1. So that was just how unlikely. It's the second most unlikely World Series matchup since the 1991 season, I believe. I saw that floating around last night. So nobody saw this coming. Okay, that's fine. You know, what the reaction to the matchups, it's not the sexiest matchup. That's fine. You're going to either watch or you're not going to watch. I'm not a TV executive. Neither are you. I don't care what the ratings are from a World Series perspective.
Really.
Let the Fox executives worry about that. Problem. That's always the weird reaction we see a lot more recently to bad matchups. Like, why do you care? If you don't like it, don't watch. But I think it's interesting what this matchup shows for the future of baseball as it relates to how does a team like the Royals, Cody, get a quicker turnaround? This notion that you need 5 or 6 years. Is it possible to flip it and not have to do it by spending $500 million over a 3-year period, which, by the way, is what the Texas Rangers did? The Diamondbacks are the other side of that, right? They made really effective trades. They drafted well. The Corbin Carroll's a stud, right? He is their star player. He's what you hope Bobby Wood Jr. can do for a future World Series team in Kansas City. Because the Diamondbacks last couple years, as a matter of fact, 110 losses in 2021, 88 losses in 2022. The Rangers lost 102 in 2021, and they lost 94 in 2022, and now they're both in the World Series. But they both did it in different ways.
Sure, and I think that what happened here is that people in Kansas City wanted to take this as an opportunity to bury the Royals, which I get it, man. It's easy to bury the Royals. They've been very bad at baseball for a number of years since going to and winning the World Series. But, I mean, let's be honest here. Taking these two teams or the 3 of the last 4 teams as an example for, like yesterday, I heard Carrington, who's like, hey, the Royals make it seem like it's harder than it is. They do to a point, but saying they could just be the Diamondbacks. They could just be a 102-loss team and then be in the World Series 2 years later. Do you want to know, since 2015, how many times have these two teams made the postseason since 2012, when the Royals were originally trying to restart their franchise? The answer is twice. They both have been to the postseason twice in the last decade. That's it. Oh, let's go back to 85. How many more times have they made it since then? The same number. So, like, in our lifetimes, Gold, the Diamondbacks are as effective as getting to the postseason as the Royals are, which is not effective. There are certainly teams that get there, but even if you go to their opponent, the Phillies, you might be like, well, they're the Philadelphia Phillies. That's a major market. Since 2012, would you like to guess how many times they've made the postseason? Twice. Since 1984, would you like to guess how many times they've made the postseason? 4 times, the same time as the Royals. So these teams are in the middle of their thriving moments. Similar to the Royals were in 14 and 15, and they should be celebrated for that. And the Royals should win more. But I'm choosing today, I guess, to just be the more optimistic end of this, which is at least it gives me hope that where the Royals were this season doesn't have to last that long. There is one thing that I think is true in this, which is I am tired of the one big excuse from the Royals that I think has been existing over the last couple of years, which is we will spend when this team's ready to win. Well, that time's over. That ship has sailed. You paid guys like Hunter Dozier, while somebody who is starting for the Diamondbacks in Rivera, who is going to play for them in the World Series, who's playing for you and you cut because you wanted to pay Dozier. It's time to put money into the franchise to try to give the young players a chance to win. You're going to have to reverse your original plan now, because I am tired of the let's be the 27th payroll and find out if the young guys will carry us through until they can't. You're going to have to spend money this offseason.
Yeah, this year, by the way, this year I think the Diamondbacks spent about $20 million or so, $20 million more, $26 million more
in payroll
than what the Royals did. So you're right about historically, like how many appearances and how similar they are. I think for me what it is more that it can be done more than another 5-year plan, another 4-year plan. You can turn it over in a 2-year period if you're smart amongst your trades. And then, yes, you also are spending a little bit more money, which is something that we have all acknowledged for this offseason, how important it is. It's not just about continuing to make some trades, which have been very promising in the last calendar year from this front office, believe it or not, and most notably the Cole Reagan's acquisition and a few others. But also, this is an offseason where you do need to spend some money. Do I think that suddenly they're going to go win 88 games next season? Of course not.
All they have to win is 84 like the Diamondbacks to win the Central.
But in the AL Central, you get to 80 and you're in the hunt. That's you get to 80 and you're in the hunt. And what it also shows, once again, with all the 100-plus win teams that got eliminated very early on in this postseason, is, you get in the dance, man, and just see what happens. We all saw that in 2014. They were a wild card team against the Oakland A's, and we all know they went on to a run and were very close to winning it in 14. They lost to the Giants before coming back the next year when they were actually one of the better teams in baseball and won 90-plus games and in all of that. But I think it just shows to me that, all right, in a 2-year turnaround, if you make the right moves, is it possible to do that? Sure. Now, nobody should expect it's the norm that, hey, you win 84 and you're going to go to World Series. Okay, I just told you how unlikely this matchup is. Nobody's saying they need to get to a World Series in the next 3 or 4 years, but should they be in the 80-plus win range in the next 2 or 3 years? There's no reason why you should say that's not possible.
So that you can't just get lucky. And that is where I draw the line. The Rangers are a really tough example because they're like, they lost 100 games 2 years ago.
Of money.
Well, they spent $500 million. I mean, I think sometimes the market size of baseball is a little overblown. I don't think it's so overblown that the Royals can spend literally like 40% of their entire Forbes valuation of their franchise in a single offseason discrepancy. I don't think it's that far overblown. I do think that there happens to be a slight difference between this. The other thing I don't understand about baseball fans in general, and I've loved baseball my entire life. This is how the sport has always been. In almost every other sport, we applaud. We applaud parity. Oh,
absolutely.
You could be 6-10 in baseball one year, and congrats, man. The next year you can be in the Super Bowl. Look at the parity in the sport. Look at the parity of college basketball. We love it. And then in baseball, one team that isn't the damn Dodgers or Astros gets into the postseason once. We got people jumping, like climbing to the top of tall buildings, freaking out at the possibility that one small market team might have done well. Relax.
Yeah, I don't know
Parity
if this is
good for every sport. Other teams should get to be involved in this thing.
I don't know if that's just a small fraction of social media and people are making it seem like it's a lot more baseball fans than what it actually is. I would like to think that it's just like 5% of the already 7% that is Twitter that are whatever they're actually with that viewpoint, because it is bizarre. I mean, that goes back to even the TV rating thing. Like, why are you so concerned about the television ratings? We're acting like it's a terrible thing that teams went on a historical run, perhaps, during the postseason. Does this mean also that every single year the team that won 84 games is going to the World Series? Hell no, of course not. But let's not act like we've never seen World Series participants that won less than 90 games.
Didn't the Cardinals win it with like 87 wins?
The Braves 2 years ago were in the World Series and won 88. Yeah. Like, you mentioned the Royals. In 14, the Royals were in the World Series and won 89. I mean, there's been plenty of examples.
And by the way, 89 and 84 is literally zero difference in 162 games, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's so many games. It means literally nothing. That is such a small number of games for the amount that they play.
Even the Cardinals back in 06.
83.
I mean, so like, let's not act like this is so unique. It was bizarre to me to see some of those. I think it's a small fraction, though, Cody, of baseball fan. Yeah, is the baseball regular season way too long? We've all acknowledged that. I don't think it's changing anytime soon, though. But this idea of like, well, it's just, they weren't the better team in the regular season. They didn't push as hard as these other teams. It's not good to reward them. Then let's not even do the postseason. Then I guess we're just going to we're going to go EPL style. We're just going to go regular season. Like, what the hell are we talking about?
God. Is that what people were saying when the Giants went 7-9 or whatever and won the whole thing?
It's bizarre to me, this notion that, well, you didn't go all in as much in the regular season. You don't deserve it. Says who? What the hell is this new standard that some people are trying to make? It's bizarre to me.
That's also just not the American style of playoffs ever. We don't crown the champion for the team who had the best trade deadline. Otherwise, the Buffalo Bills would be like 3-time defending Super Bowl champs. Like, just simply going for the most. I was just curious now, like, if I was going to go through like the best record in baseball. Oh my God. Do you know how many championships these stupid Dodgers would have? Oh, my God. This be unbearable.
I think someone pointed this out on the text line, 913-586-7610. Some of this is the whole just like East Coast bias, big market stuff, right? That's what some of this is.
Don't like us little guys.
That's what some of it is. Now, by the way, Phoenix and Dallas aren't small markets. I want to be clear. Like, they're not. Let's not act like Dallas is one of the biggest cities in the country. So let's not act like we got small market baseball teams in the World Series. But yeah, it's not the coast, right? It's not a West Coast team. It's not an East Coast team. I think that is exactly part of this here. And I even told you off air, I think, during this postseason, I probably have watched less of postseason baseball this year, just for a variety of reasons. There's been conflicts with football games, but also I haven't been as interested. I'm going to watch the World Series, though. But you know what? Again, if you are like, hey, this doesn't interest me, then you do you. But like, it's not a problem with baseball. And let the Fox executives be concerned about the advertising revenue in the future. Why are you worried about that? So unless you're an executive at Fox, then okay, then you can stress a little bit and worry the ratings may not be great. Otherwise, why? That's not your problem. It's
weird.
Would
like the Royals to, instead of spending $500 million this offseason, I'd like that. I would like them to spend $500 million this offseason, but let's be realistic for a minute. I would just like them to spend like 50, 100. I told you what I'm tired of is we signed one starting pitcher for 1 year and $7 million, and that man will be pitching 190 innings for us this year. I'm like, pass.
Yeah.
There's a reason he was available for 1 for 7. You still have to get the decision right when you spend the money, but maybe try to spend more money.
One very famous national sports talk host so badly did not want the Diamondbacks to advance to the World Series.
Did he quit?
In fact, when the Diamondbacks were down multiple games in the series and they were, of course, up against it and had to win too, Chris Mad Dog Russo said that he would retire.
I've been wrong in Arizona from day one. I'm stunned they beat Milwaukee. I thought they'd get swept by the Dodgers. I never thought they'd even go back to Philly for a Game 6. I'll try it one more time. I would not be stunned if they won tonight. I would be floored. And I'll say this right now. I'll say this right now. And Bob Raceman, write it down. If they win the next 2 days, they win the next 2 games and win this series in 7 games, if they win, I will retire on the spot.
That happened, by the way. They won 2.
Okay, so Mad Dog Russo
nice
retiring?
career, great career.
He's on First Take today.
I'm sure that'll be interesting.
I see it right here.
So he hasn't quit, or he's quitting soon?
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to announce his retirement today.
What would have to happen for you to retire? If the Royals win the World Series next year, will you retire from Sports Talk Radio?
No. Turns out Mad Dog has made just a bit more money than you and I in his career. Just a little bit more money. And so he could retire, actually, if that truly was something he was going to hold himself to. My guess is, spoiler, he's not going to retire.
His son was on Twitter. He was like, hey, can you not have my dad retire,
Well, yeah, his son's like an assistant basketball coach at some
at
university.
Northern Arizona. I think he was an assistant at UConn, actually.
Yeah,
nobody made his dad say that, by the way. You know, please don't make... Nobody made your dad's...
We know this. It was that was all theater.
One time I said
good for him.
that if Alcides Escobar had a better batting average than Billy Butler at the end of the year, I'd eat a hat. You know what I had to do? Cook and cut up a hat. Life is weird sometimes.
You actually did it?
I once said that if Jordan Lyles won 6 games, I'd buy a bottle of Dom for this show. You know what I did? I bought a bottle of Dom for this show. Mad Dog Russo should be a man of his word. Anytime I say something stupid on the radio, I do the stupid thing I've promised. I feel like it should go the same way. He should just quit. He's got lots of money. He should just retire. I've never listened to his show.
Really?
Nope.
Never?
I like Mad Dog.
I've seen clips of it, and I'm not interested.
Yeah, I used to listen more. National Sports Talk Radio. I don't really anymore.
He does a MLB Network show too, doesn't he? I think.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you don't think he's going to quit?
No.
No, of course not.
That's a shame, Not because I have anything against him.
I was going to say, why do you want him to quit?
It really sounds like...
I want him to be a man of his word. That's why. That's why I want him to quit.
I would be impressed if he actually did follow through with his word because,
That would be amazing.
A lot of times people do those things and obviously they don't.
Greatest payoff for a radio statement ever. You'd be like, you know what? I said it, so I'm out. It's been nice knowing you guys. I'll see you later.
But there's really no payoff though for if you're retiring because the payoff is like, oh, it's good content. Like if the content is that it's ending, then it's not good content.
For literally everyone else, it's good content. That's what I mean.
Not for him.
He's giving his final payoff to sports radio is to pay off this bet and give us all something to talk about. That's a really nice thing for him to do. The Chiefs, meanwhile, are dealing with the Nick Bolton injury, which we talked about.
Right.
But one of the players that is like we talked about Drew Tranquil and why that signing is important and how him being able to be on the field going forward is going to be really big for the Chiefs. Even as much as that, and probably less talked about than that, is Willie Gay, who is in a contract year before the Nick Bolton injury, is 1,000% playing like and performing at that level. Would you agree? Willie Gay Jr. is playing his best football of his entire career, and it's coming at an incredibly vital time. That's why their linebackers have been so good this year. But now with the Nick Bolton injury, I'm laying even more at the feet of Willie Gay Jr. It becomes more important that he continues to play at this level.
Yeah, even though Drew Tranquill is the guy that's directly stepping in for Nick Bolton, Willie Gay is a guy that's been in the system for multiple years now. We know athletically, in terms of what he brings to the table, it's more than anybody else in that linebacking core. Yeah, Willie Gay Jr. has an opportunity to make himself a nice payday in this offseason. I think before the season, we all said automatically, oh, he's not going to be back because they're going to eventually pay Nick Bolton.
Correct.
We'll see how that all plays out, by the way. Nick Bolton's not on a contract year, so he's here next year no matter what on the final year of his deal.
We've all assumed like Achilles or ACL, it's a wrist.
But I think most people have assumed that, this is it for Willie Gay Jr. in Kansas City, no matter how he performs. That might be true still. We'll see. He's certainly playing at a high level that somebody in that free agency market might be willing to, I won't say the word overpay, that's probably not fair, but pay more than the Chiefs are willing to at that linebacker spot.
I think you always kind of overpay in free agency. You always pay more than what it would have taken to just keep the player there, but that's the point of entering free agency. I'm just going back through. It's his highest Pro Football Focus grade. You can see he's been better in the blitz packages. They've been using the linebackers more. I just think across the board, you can tell that Willie Gay is playing better football overall. He is now a very important player. We obviously know, like if I said, hey, who are the 10 most important players for the Chiefs the rest of the way? We don't have to go that far to get through the first 4 or 5. It'd be like Kelsey, Jones, Mahomes, McDuffie. Okay, so we'll get down the list, Kelsey, right? We'll get through the list pretty quick before we get there. When you start talking about that second tier of player that he would be involved in with a lot of the wide receivers, a lot of the other linebackers, the other safeties, he has catapulted to near the top of that secondary list because of the Nick Bolton injury and because of what level he is playing at the moment. Because all 3 of those guys are going to be counted on way more than they were just a few weeks ago when Nick Bolton was getting a primary amount of snaps. And I guess for good news now and good measure, they learned to play without Nick Bolton for a few weeks while he was hurt.
Yeah, I just think still it's more bigger picture. Does anything that happens this year change it for you guys in terms of his long-term outlook in Kansas City? Anything that he's doing this year? Does it change? Does it change what you would do if you're Brett Veach?
Not unless the price is right. Like they were able to afford a free agent linebacker this year in Drew Tranquill. So if the price tag is something like that, sure, bring back Willie Gay Jr. if it's your defense and now he's playing his best football. But if it's going to be a 3, 4, 5 year deal, I don't know. I can change it because to me, if you're still choosing between the 2 available linebackers, either giving an extension to Nick Bolton this offseason or giving the money to Willie Gay, even though Bolton's hurt and Willie Gay's playing great football, I'd still choose Bolton. He provides more daily to their defense when he's healthy, don't you think? And again, it's not the kind of injury where you think it might affect his athleticism. It's a wrist. It's not
once he recovers from it, he'll be fine.
Yeah. It's just a little bit different from an injury perspective. Isn't that what you would do? Would you still go with Bolton? I assume they're still going to sign Bolton in the offseason. Maybe I'm crazy. Because Bolton and Creed will both be, and Trey will all be topics of conversation this offseason as far as extensions.
Well, you're not paying 2 linebackers, so you have to pick between the 2. Like you're going to continue to, we saw prior to having young talent at the linebacker spot, to your point, they overpaid for Anthony Hitchens. He was an important signing at the time. But still, that's a lot of money to, I think, devote to a linebacker position for someone that's not, basically an edge rusher that's going to get you 12 sacks or something.
And they're going to have to pay that.
And so I doubt they're going to pay Nick Bolton, who's one of the best tacklers in football at that position, and then also pay Willie Gay. So, yeah, they're going to pick between the 2. My guess is they're going to choose Nick Bolton in the future. But Willie Gay is earning himself some money somewhere in the offseason based off of what it looks like a fantastic season here in Kansas City, and he's been able to, I think, improve. A lot of it is he's healthy too, man. He's always had something early in the season, usually early in the season, coming out of camp the last couple of years. Not the case this year. You're seeing him play at full strength, which is awesome to see. Coming up in about 7 minutes or so, we'll get to the power rankings a little bit now in the AFC West. And I think it's tricky how we know, other than the Chiefs, how you're going to lay out the AFC and who is the most daunting opponent going forward as well. But I saw this morning that if you're wanting to just continue to go all in on the Travis Kelce, I guess, lifestyle, I'm sure he was eating the same stuff. He's got his own food line now at Walmart. He's launched barbecue meals at Walmart. Now, you got to be careful with this one, you have to admit, right? Because it's KC and it's barbecue. So, you got to be a little careful. But it's called Travis Kelce's Kitchen, and they're frozen meals. Burn-ins mac and cheese. Burn-ins barbecue baked beans. Sausage and meatball marinara with peppers and onions. There's seasoned sliced brisket. You can now find them exclusively at Walmart. I think we need to buy 1 or 2 of these.
Do you want to taste test these?
I think we need to buy 1 or 2 of these and have these during Club 610. I'm a little concerned, I'll be honest, Travis, on this one. I'll be
Look,
the fact that it's barbecue and it's frozen. You got to be in here in Kansas City.
High standard.
You know,
this better be the best frozen barbecue meal money can buy, right? Like based on that, I'm a little worried that this might be his first miss of the year. Travis Kelce's just been knocking out hit after hit, right? I mean, what in his year hasn't gone to absolute perfection? Super Bowl, dating life,
you know what,
work
though?
career. He's on the best team in football. He's leading all tight ends in receiving again. He's dating a superstar. He won the Super Bowl. This might be the first L he takes, man.
The only thing is, he's probably not taking the L, though. They paid him.
His name's on it. It says Travis Kelce's Kitchen.
They paid him to use his name. He's not losing money on this if they end up not selling. He already got paid, probably.
It says KC Style, man. He's got to own up to that size.
It's Travis Kelce's Kitchen. It's his name, but somebody else, obviously some other company just slapped his name on it that's making this. But yeah, you got to be KC-inspired flavors. You got to be a little careful on the barbecue end.
I think if we're trying – go ahead, Drew.
I was going to say, sorry, if you're a fan and they get sick, they're not going to go up to Travis and say, "Hey, your food sucks." As long as he puts up touchdowns on Sunday, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, nobody's worried about them getting sick and the food quality. It's a taste thing, I think.
Or if it sucks, it's not like. I mean, they're not going to go up to Travis and hey, man, your barbecue's terrible.
No, of course, no. But
your frozen meals are awful.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's worried about like the food quality of like getting sick from it. It's
I think if we're
going
to try
which ones?
I think
many
burnt-ends are Kansas City's staples. So either the burnt-in mac and cheese or just the seasoned burnt-ends.
So the burnt-in mac and cheese, I think, is the one you got to try for sure.
But if we were going to do a second one, what would we do?
Are those the only two?
Sliced brisket?
Yeah.
Okay. That one scares me.
The picture's not.
It's a lot of that's a little.
Well, I don't like beans, so I don't want the barbecue baked bean.
Okay. Let's see. One of us can run to Walmart. We'll get the burn-in mac and cheese one of Travis Kelce's Kitchen, and then either the sausage and meatball marinara one or the
sliced brisket.
The sliced brisket, yeah.
I think those are the choices.
Okay. They run anywhere from $9 to $12.
They're that expensive? Frozen meals that I normally get at Walmart are like $3.79 or something like that.
These are 16 ounces, though, man. This is like maybe twice a Hungry Man. This is a good size frozen meal. This might be dinner for two. I haven't seen it in person, so I don't know. I'm literally looking at it on a tweet.
Yeah, text line's correct. Drew, you were worried about the food quality from a health standpoint. This is not made in Cody's kitchen. These are FDA approved.
Oh, okay.
These are clean kitchens. There's not going to be any accidental green onions inside of the burnt end.
All right.
Nothing like that.
Again, that wouldn't be objectionable in a burnt end.
If you see
it's not
Cody,
common, but
not as bad as the Reese's peanut butter cup.
If you see Cody Tapp's frozen meals, that's where you need to really
get our own line of Cody and Gold. Forget C&G frozen pizzas. We know we can't get in the pizza game, so we just make a frozen pizza brand instead. That's our cop down. That feels like it'd be more work.
It's better be for two, like you said, because $9 to $12, man. That's not. I mean, at that point, I can get a Z-Man sandwich here for not much more.
Yeah,
actually less.
Well, again, I think this is bigger than a Z-Man. We're gonna try it. I think it's only fair that I'll pick it up and we can have it on Friday for Club 610. Let's give it a little taste test.
All right, coming up next, the AFC. Specifically at the top. A little more complicated than we all thought heading into Week 8. We'll tell you about that next.
Cody and Gold.
Last and probably most important question. Number one on what's trending, Andy Reid spoke a little bit earlier today. You heard it here during Cody and Gold. He mentioned Nick Bolton did have wrist surgery yesterday, although he did not have to put any metal in his wrist. They viewed that as a positive. Has not been put on IR yet. We'll see if that actually happens. Otherwise, at practice, everybody was there, including Justin Watson, who's coming off a dislocated elbow. So that's a positive sign. Also, Justin Ross was at practice. Andy Reid commented on the legal situation, said that they have gathered information. They're going to continue to gather information, and at some point, basically make a decision with that. So as of right now, he is still on this football team.
Next up on What's Trending, all reports and signs seem to point to Frank Clark signing with Seattle very soon. Obviously left KC, if he ever came to KC, without a deal. Justina Anderson was the first to report, but pretty much every major NFL reporter now saying that it's pretty much a done deal. If he passes a physical, he's expected to be on the 53-man roster for the Seattle Seahawks by the end of the day. So go back to where his career started, where he's actually from, to Seattle, if all things go well for Frank Clark. I assume a lot of this was they told him, like what Kling said, to just chill for a little bit, and we'll probably try to find a spot for you eventually. He didn't want to wait around to find out. Seattle's a very good team and in contention in the NFC. Went back to Seattle instead.
Next on What's Trending, MLS playoffs get going tonight. Wild card round. Sporting Kansas City hosting the San Jose Earthquakes.
I see you're rocking your Sporting jersey.
I got the Sporting jersey.
It's got gold on the back?
It does, from our media game. You have one as well. Different color, I think, but you have one.
Yeah, mine's the white kit.
And Sporting is favorite tonight, minus 135 on the money line over at FanDuel or Barstool Sportsbook. So an opportunity in the rain to move on. And if Sporting does win, they would take on St. Louis, who's the number one seed.
Chance to ruin their season? That would be kind of nice. The number one seed, St. Louis. I do like taking them down, so sure. I'm entertained. Please go beat San Jose tonight. Next up on What's Trending, a little bit of an update on the stadium stuff. Earlier today, Fox 4 reporting that Jackson County legislator is giving Frank White kind of an ultimatum. He's got 48 hours to write a deadline to the Royals Stadium response. He's saying that it's unreasonable that he's only been given 48 hours in order to do so. I would say that he's had quite a bit of time to know that this thing's coming, but they voted 5-1 to give him a 48-hour thing to get back to him with recommendations on how the Royals' latest reply and term offer sheet. So really, they just want Frank White to be like, hey, are you cool with most of this or not? Because we kind of got to get back to the Royals.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about this after What's Trending, just what it actually means and a little bit more detail as well with that update that came out from Fox 4 last night. Next up on What's Trending, the World Series is set. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers. We mentioned this earlier in the show. People are not happy with the matchup. It's not sexy enough for them. Again, if you're not a TV executive for Fox, I don't know why you care. If you're not going to watch, you're not going to watch. That's cool. But Game 1 of the World Series will take place, on Friday night. It will be 7:03 first pitch in Texas. Diamondbacks, just an 84-win team. And before the season, this exact World Series matchup was 1,700-1. Yeah.
Kind of wish I'd have bet it.
Yeah, but there would have been no possible reason to ever in a million years make that bet.
Glad you had Biff's future gambling catalog.
Yeah, if you had the MLB script for the season.
Lastly, on What's Trending, 21st overall recruit Patrick Ngongba is down to just 3 schools. The reason why I mention it is they are Duke, Kentucky, and K-State. Jerome Tang trying to find a way to get an extra big recruit.
One
that would
certainly
be one of the biggest
stands
recruits
out.
they would ever get. But look, Duke and Kentucky, they have been recruiting top talent for a very long time in this league. K-State's done a really nice job recruiting. If he's down to 3 schools, if you get your hands on a 5-star kid at K-State, that's not just stealing from the other big boys. That's stealing from players that Kansas would be expecting to get a lot of times. So being in the Final 3 is not a win. You don't get a claim victory because somebody considered going to your school. Kansas doesn't get to be like, sweet Jamar Chase almost went here once. You got to still get him, but still good that K-State's in the Final 3.
Lastly, on What's Trending, little NBA, NFL news, crossover here. Cleveland Browns All-Pro Myles Garrett has purchased a minority stake in the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Okay.
He's going to serve as an official Cavaliers brand ambassador. As we know, Patrick Mahomes has a minority stake in the Royals and Sporting and the Current, an F1 team. Who am I missing? And go on and on and on. Pickleball team. That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Don't forget tonight, That Betting Show live. I'll be hosting that this evening from 7 to 8. Get you set for Week 8 of the NFL season, also college football weekend. That Betting Show presented by Hollywood Casino in studio this week, and then we'll be back out at Hollywood Casino at the Barstool Sportsbook next Wednesday night. But if you missed the show, you can check it out on the Odyssey app or anywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple. you name it. So appreciate you already if you have subscribed. And this Friday, hope to see you out at Tanner's. This Friday afternoon from 3 to 5 o'clock, I'll be at the Tanner's there right by KU Med. I think it's 3900 Rainbow Boulevard. I'll be out there for Visit KCK. We know you can bet on the Kansas side. You can't, unfortunately, sports wager on the Missouri side. So we'll have some sports betting T-shirts to give away. Some K-State football tickets we'll be giving away, hanging out this Friday night from 3 to 5. I think the whole event goes till 6, but I'll be there from 3 to 5. You mentioned the stadium stuff, Cody, during What's Trending. And it was an interesting update because, essentially it is the Jackson County legislature saying, hey, we're valuing your input, obviously, you're the Jackson County executive, and we're not waiting, though, for you to take another couple weeks to give us your recommendations. We would like 48-hour deadline.
We'd like your opinion on this.
To give us your recommendation on the latest offer the Royals put out there. And now, what happens if he doesn't give them the information in 40 hours? Honestly,
I assume that they move forward on their own recommendation.
They move forward, right? This, they're not like a punishment, but
they voted for it. So either we can move forward without your recommendation, or you can give it to us.
And Frank White responded and said, "quote This is from Fox 4. This is a big deal for the county. Something we really need to take a hard look at to make sure that we're all equitable partners. The legislature sometimes they demand things that we can't give them when they want it." And it's why Frank White opposes this 48-hour deadline that he has been given. I actually view it as a positive. Like let's move this thing along a little bit here. It clearly, to me, also states that the Royals are being patient at this point with the county, and that is still their preferred county, as in downtown Missouri, KC-Mo, to actually choose. Meanwhile, Clay County is just kind of out here hanging out, waving, like, "Hey, we're here. Don't forget about us. We're kind of here." Like, if things really don't go the way you want,
we'll be here
with Jackson County. We're here for you.
I think that this points to, and maybe I'm just reading into the situation, but we know based on timing, there has to be a conclusion to this soon. Gold, it is almost November. The original deadline they gave was like, well, we might try to be on that August ballot, but April's on there too. Okay, so we're long past that. Then, after they had passed that deadline, they'd said, end of summer. We're choosing a site by the end of summer.
That was a month ago.
Yeah, more than, right? Or close to more than, or maybe exactly. But it's like we're coming up on November, and you were saying it was going to be sometime in September you were going to make a decision. So obviously things got pushed back. I think the Royals have made their offer and what they would like, and they are waiting for a response from the county. And they're trying to get Frank White to make a decision. I can't blame them for that because the Royals have got to be, at this point, putting a little pressure on them. I'll say this. This part going slow, and it's essentially intra-fighting between people in the same area having to make the same decision, makes me think that maybe when the Royals, remember when, like, in the very earliest process, the Royals are like, hey, they're dragging their feet. And they're like, whoa, no, it's them that's dragging their feet. Kind of makes me feel like maybe it's Jackson County who's dragging their feet a little bit because it's definitely them now, right?
It appears that way. I think there's always, some PR and gamesmanship on both sides throughout a process when you're talking about billion-dollar projects and $500 million in public money and things like that are going to be asked for at a county level, or that hundreds of millions of dollars. So I'm sure there's a little bit on both ends. But yes, this report makes it seem like, frankly, there's one individual that maybe has been taking a little too long to give his recommendations. So we'll see. Again, the 48-hour deadline was as of last night, so we'll see what happens in the next day or so. And what Jackson County as a legislature decides to do, and kind of whether it's a counter or whatever it may be. Remember, there was a reporting, Cody, a week or so ago from the KC Business Journal having to do with some alternate methods of financing, however you want to phrase it, for the stadium that did not involve the 3/8 cents sales tax for the Royals. That still doesn't change anything necessarily with the Chiefs, but that maybe there was a way over X amount of years for the county to come up with funds. But that's where it sounds like Frank White is concerned. And basically like, hey, we don't want to promise that we can do this.
And maybe we can't
actually do it. So that, which obviously is more than fair if that's a valid concern, if there really isn't a plan in place to do that. But that's where things stand. And that's why we are almost in November, and that there isn't any clarity on which site they're choosing. And the ballot is in April. That's what the target is right now. And I don't know what the exact deadline is that they have to submit everything to get on an April ballot in Jackson County. I don't think it's November, but still, it's one of those things where the longer it goes on, it makes you continue to think more and more that that there's a chance that everything would fall apart and Clay County would be sitting there and all of a sudden probably already put together what they're willing to give to the Royals.
Gold, I've got great news.
Okay, this could go a lot of different ways.
No. Good news. The shipment of the Taylor Swift T-shirts is on its way. It is due to come to me tomorrow.
Okay.
So do we want to do another T-shirt? What's the rain situation on Friday?
Well, it's supposed to rain like all week.
Like even Friday? Do we have to push the T-shirt drop to next week?
It's supposed to rain the rest of the week, I think. Hold on. I think it's supposed to rain. Yeah, like through the week.
Well, we got to check weather.
Well, you don't want to stand out in the rain?
Not particularly.
You don't want to be under a tent in the rain?
According to the iPhone weather app, it's 35% on Friday.
Chance of rain. Well, this is even 70. So yeah, I don't think you.
Thursday's 70.
Now next week, Cody, if you want to do it, you can be outside when it's 40 degrees. Have fun with that. So you pick rain in 60s or next week dry, but 40 degrees.
Text line, little help, 913-586-7610. How quickly do you want to get your hands on these T-shirts? Yeah. Remember, this is our second and I think final run of available Taylor Swift T-shirts in which we will give them to you at below cost if you try to go to the store.
They come from Ray Gun. They're going to be $13 shirts, which is much cheaper than you can get directly through them. They provided us with some T-shirts for a drop. And so that we had success with this a couple weeks ago.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend with a little football on them. They're Chiefs colored red. I got not just medium, large, and extra large this time. I also procured some smalls.
Okay.
And more of the smaller sizes because it turned out more of you wanted of them in those sizes for either yourselves or for your significant others. But they're coming. So do we want it Friday? I mean, I guess if they'll set it up, I'll stand out in the rain. It's a tent at least, right?
It is a tent. Yeah.
So I can hypothetically get a tent. Does everybody prefer them Friday? I need help. 913-586-7610. Someone says, will there also be pairs of the Dongtown underwear? No, those are available online only. That's only during Royals season. Could you imagine if I set up shop with those outside?
Yeah, that's actually the punishment. When the Chiefs beat the Bengals, Drew has to wear the Dongtown underwear in the parking lot and stand out there for a whole show.
It's going to be New Year's Eve. It's going to be freezing.
That's what it's not going to bode well for you, buddy.
My goodness, that's terrible. One person on the text line says Friday at 11:30 with an exclamation point, and another person says just no. I don't. Well, why so many no's? Like, no, you don't want them at all, sir. You don't have to buy them.
Yeah, that might be what they mean.
We sold through them in 27 minutes the last time. I assume we will have some interested parties for the T-shirts this time.
A lot of people saying Friday, please. We also someone did ask. We did already pick the Club 610 invite winners, so we have done that already. That was done yesterday, so. If you haven't been contacted, unfortunately, you'll have to try another time. But most people think Friday's the day.
Okay. Well, maybe I gotta
in the mist of rain.
Look, I'll put on a jacket. I'll do what I gotta do to. What's the temperature?
Cody looks like he's about to lay some asphalt today. He's wearing.
I'm wearing a hoodie from my friends over at GAN. Is that something wrong with that?
Someone
asked me if I got paid to wear this on the video stream.
No,
it's just a comfortable hoodie.
I think I have a hoodie too. Yeah, I think I have one. I don't think I've worn it on the camera before, but I have. It's comfy. But it looks like you run into a quick trip in the morning and the crew's getting ready to go out and work.
Yeah, this is it.
Normally
it's covered in asphalt and paint and
stuff. It's too clean. It's too clean. But just seeing Cody just walk into a gas station with boots on, you're like, there's no way in hell this guy works for GAN Asphalt.
All you need is some paint splattered on the hoodie and on your jeans.
How's the asphalt business? And you're just like, great.
Fantastic.
It's going phenomenal.
Almost shut down for the winter, Those plants can't stay open all year. Just say stuff like that where it sounds like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, someone says you need to shake off the rain on Friday. Just shake it off.
Okay, I see how we're doing this. Okay,
Just shake it off. For those Taylor Swift shirts.
It seems like most people just want to do it on Friday. So if that's the date of choice,
excellent.
I will do it on Friday. Now they're asking for new shirts to enter.
Yeah, they are.
Related to Chris Jones saying,
Call it the hammer.
It the hammer. He said, you can call it whatever you want. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm just Chris Jones.
The hammer?
I don't know. Whatever y'all want to call it, y'all.
He's laughing in that
He knew exactly what he was doing.
Man.
Uh-huh.
I was not planning on that being a part of the conversation today. Are we immature?
Oh, just a little.
But like medium level or like maximum? I think there's less mature people.
Medium level.
I don't think we're like...
Depends on... at times. At times. Someone says, Mitch says put the hammer down all the time. Well, yes, he does. Yes, he does.
I don't think that's he has a physical gold hammer. I've seen it. He brings it to the Chiefs Kingdom show sometimes. We should go visit. The schedule's up, I think, at 610sportskc.com.
I think they had George Karloftis on Monday, Cody.
Nice.
I think that was the guest on Monday night.
That's a good guest.
Very
Played
good.
very, very, very well.
He's had a very nice start to his career, it turns out.
From the 913. Can I come just get one right now?
We do not have them.
They are not. They have been shipped to me. I have received an invoice for payment, which I'm going to have to email this guy again and be like, look, I'm not paying you until I actually have the money. Essentially, we're not going to make much money for the show fund off these t-shirt drops. We're just doing it for you. And pretty much all this money is going to go to, if you're curious, you're like, what do they actually do with the show fund? Bad sports bets, and then buying things like Travis Kelce frozen dinners on Friday. That's pretty much it. If you're curious how we spend it, frivolously.
Yeah, Travis Kelce Kitchen, if you missed earlier in the show. Travis Kelce Kitchen is a line of frozen foods that now are available at Walmart, it turns out. We want to try them on the air. So I think Friday we're going to have some brisket and some burn-in mac and cheese from Travis Kelce's Kitchen.
Brisket, Club 610, and a t-shirt drop all on a Red Friday. That's how serious we're taking the Denver Broncos. We're going to plan maximum number of things going on outside of that. 7,000 Squibb Road is the address to the station. No, text line, I will not give you the address to my house.
Yeah, just DM me. I'll give it to you.
There instead. Okay. Why would you give people my home address?
I wouldn't do that. Wouldn't do that.
You can come out to Deck 4 and pick up the shirts.
Yeah, there's a box on Deck 4. And
4 would actually be the best deck for pickup, I'll be honest. It's
you just
Saturday
ran through them in your head. Like, oh, theoretically speaking,
well,
yes.
we decided on the numbering order, so now I actually...
You need to invite Drew out to your... You got to invite Drew out to your house.
You want to come over for dinner soon?
And you can see what we mean actually by the 4 decks or whatever. Yeah. Sean Barber wants a medium Swifty shirt for his daughter, and he said he'll come to Club 610 on Friday.
Okay. $13, Sean. What? I'm not trying to be rude. We charged everyone in this building $13.
That's right. I bought one.
That's all.
I'm not going to buy this new one, but the one I bought a week or so. I'm not going to buy this version. One Taylor Swift shirt's enough for me. The one that says she loves. The one she says she loves Kansas City.
Which is objectively true. She's been here a lot.
I would agree.
I like this one as well. Someone says you could also just give me your social security number instead.
And that might be worse.
Way worse.
Than your address. A lot worse. Yes.
Than my address?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. You can get the LifeLock thing, and technically it wouldn't be that useful versus the address that could come to your house, which seems problematic.
Yeah, I would think so. Don't want people coming.
Especially since Cody has told us his security procedures.
No, I've only told you. Hold on.
On air.
I've told you I didn't used to lock my house, and now I do.
Yeah, that's very good. You have kids, my man. Wife, lock the doors. You have kids and a wife.
That was before I lived with my wife. We just left our door open when we were a kid. None of us had house keys. We just walked in. And so I wasn't really good about locking my car or my house for a long time in my life. And then I started locking those things. But then recently I have admitted to a couple of times where, I don't know, like a couple of months ago, I left the house for like 3 hours, and when I got home, I had realized I'd left the front door wide open.
Yeah, man.
Like completely open.
Look, I get it. Everybody's left
shut.
the garage door up before. Like, that stuff happens, but you can't regularly be leaving the front door unlocked.
Someone says, can I get a free shirt if I do free housework? Yeah, whoever mows my grass next can have one free Taylor Swift shirt. I'll pay for it.
The opportunity was still there from Cody.
I've been volunteering, and
now the leaves are starting to fall. They got to get all mulched up.
Drew's offered to mow your yard.
He can. He can come over. He can come over early. Mow, and then we can hang out.
Oh, man.
Hang out after I've been outside.
It's cold. It won't be as sweaty now. Better time of year to mow.
Yes, it's been raining.
My parents did also leave. They used to leave the door unlocked. It wasn't open, but we knew coming home from school, we could just walk in and it was no problem.
Gotta lock the door.
We did have keys as well, though, just in case.
But I didn't have a key. I never had a key to my house growing up until maybe I was like 19, and they started like if they were going to go out of town, they might lock.
Yeah, I don't think I didn't really have a I didn't really have a key to the house, but like eventually we had like the garage keypad thing, you know.
We didn't have a garage keypad.
Like you just type in the code.
Yeah, we didn't have one of those.
Old school had a key in the middle of it. You had to like turn it to open it. So it's like we couldn't get the keypad either. That wasn't going to do the trick either. Childhood. You know, we've talked about leaving the oven doors open, putting plastic over it, how you accessed your childhood home. We've really made the show very relatable today from a what was your childhood like perspective. It's good for us. Now we're just waiting on is...
We're all more alike than we think, you know? Turns out.
It's very inclusive of you. All right, T-shirts on Friday. I'll send out the email to make sure we can get the tent set up so that they don't get all wet.
Okay. Looking forward to it. We'll do some research, make sure the local Walmarts have the food for Friday. We'll see what we can do.
I'll check that. There's a Walmart right by my house. I'll check.
Okay. Keep an eye on that. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Danon Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver, going to join us. We'll talk with Charch. A little fancy football advice as we head into week number 8 right here on Cody and Gold. Coming up next, though, it is The Drive with Carrington Harrison. He'll have Pete Sweeney stopping by his show coming up at 3 o'clock.